What would you do if you found a wallet stuffed with cash while hiking alone in the mountains? Keep it, turn it in, or maybe try to find the owner yourself? Well, that's exactly the situation Jake Morrison found himself in last spring when he was living his dream life as a mountain man in the remote wilderness of Montana. Jake had been living off-grid for over 3 years, surviving on his hunting skills, fishing knowledge, and a deep understanding of nature. He thought he had seen it all during his time in the mountains, but nothing could have prepared him for what he discovered on that ordinary Tuesday morning in April. This isn't just another feel-good story about someone returning lost property. This is a tale that will challenge everything you think you know about honesty, survival, and what it truly means to do the right thing when nobody is watching. Because what Jake found in that wallet would test every moral fiber of his being. And the decision he made would change not just his life, but the lives of complete strangers in ways nobody could have imagined. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let me tell you about the most incredible discovery that happened in the middle of nowhere. Jake Morrison wasn't your typical mountain man. Before moving to the wilderness, he had worked as a software engineer in Seattle for nearly a decade. But the constant stress, long hours, and city life eventually wore him down. After his divorce in 2019, Jake decided to completely change his life. He sold his apartment, quit his job, and used his savings to buy a small piece of land in the Montana mountains. His nearest neighbor was over 15 miles away. The closest town was a 40-minute drive through winding mountain roads. Jake built a small cabin with his own hands, learned to hunt and fish, and grew his own vegetables. He had solar panels for basic electricity and a well for fresh water. Most importantly, he had found the peace and solitude he had been searching for. On this particular morning, Jake was checking his fishing lines near Clearwater Creek, about 2 miles from his cabin. The early spring snow had just started melting, and the creek was running higher and faster than usual. As he walked along the rocky shoreline, something brown caught his eye near a fallen log. At first, he thought it might be a dead animal, or maybe some trash that had washed downstream. But as he got closer, Jake realized it was a leather wallet, completely soaked and partially buried under some wet leaves. Jake picked up the wallet and immediately noticed how heavy it felt. The leather was expensive, the kind you'd find in a high-end department store. Even though it was waterlogged, the wallet was still in relatively good condition. Jake opened it carefully, not sure what he would find inside. What he saw next made him sit down on the nearest rock. The wallet was absolutely stuffed with cash. Not just a few $20 bills, but thick stacks of hundreds, 50s, and 20s. Jake had never seen so much money in one place in his entire life. His hands were actually shaking as he tried to count the bills. After going through everything twice, Jake realized he was holding exactly $14,600 in cash. But the money wasn't the only thing in the wallet. There was a driver's license belonging to a man named David Chen from Portland, Oregon. The license showed a middle-aged Asian man with kind eyes and a gentle smile. There were also several credit cards, a few business cards, and what looked like family photos. One photo showed David with a woman who was probably his wife, and another showed him with 2 young children, a boy and a girl, who couldn't have been older than 8 or 9. Jake found himself staring at the family photos for a long time. These weren't just random strangers anymore. This was a real family, and someone was probably desperately worried about this lost wallet. But Jake also couldn't ignore the harsh reality of his own situation. Living off-grid wasn't cheap, and his savings were running dangerously low. He'd been thinking about taking a part-time job in town just to make ends meet. $14,000 would solve all his financial problems and give him at least another year of his peaceful mountain life. Nobody knew he had found the wallet. Nobody had seen him pick it up. He was completely alone in the middle of nowhere. Jake could easily keep the money and throw away the rest of the wallet. Who would ever know? For the next hour, Jake sat by the creek, holding the wallet and wrestling with his conscience. He thought about his own struggles and how much this money could help him. He thought about David Chen and his family, wondering how they had lost so much cash in the Montana wilderness. He wondered if David even knew the wallet was missing yet. Finally, Jake made his decision. He carefully dried off the wallet and its contents as best as he could. Then he hiked back to his cabin and fired up his old laptop computer. Jake's internet connection was slow and unreliable, but he managed to search for David Chen online. It took him several hours, but he eventually found David's contact information. David Chen was a small business owner who ran a family restaurant in Portland. Jake found the restaurant's website, which included a phone number and email address. But calling David directly felt too risky. What if David thought Jake had stolen the wallet in the first place? What if David didn't believe Jake's story about finding it by the creek? Instead, Jake decided to contact the local sheriff's office in the nearest town. The next morning, Jake drove his old pickup truck down the mountain to the small town of Pine Ridge. Sheriff Martha Williams had been working in Pine Ridge for over 20 years. She had seen just about everything in her time as sheriff, but Jake's. Story still surprised her. Jake explained how he had found the wallet and showed her all the contents, including the cash. Sheriff Williams was impressed not just by Jake's honesty, but by the fact that he had taken the time to research David Chen before turning in the wallet. She told Jake that most people would have either kept the money or simply dropped off the wallet without doing any detective work. Sheriff Williams contacted David Chen that afternoon. The phone call was emotional for everyone involved. David explained that he had been visiting Montana for his father's funeral 2 weeks earlier. His father had been a veteran who specifically requested to be buried in the military cemetery near Pine Ridge. During the family gathering after the funeral, David had taken a walk in the mountains to clear his head and process his grief. He must have dropped the wallet sometime during that walk. The money in the wallet wasn't just random cash. It was actually the proceeds from a fundraising dinner that David's restaurant had, organized for a local children's hospital. David had been planning to donate the money as soon as he returned to Portland. But then his father passed away unexpectedly. In all the chaos and emotion of the funeral, David had completely forgotten about the wallet until Sheriff Williams called. The children's hospital had been waiting for the donation, but David had been too embarrassed to explain what happened. He had been trying to figure out how to replace the money from his own savings. When Sheriff Williams told David that a mountain man had found his wallet with all the money intact, David started crying on the phone. He couldn't believe that someone would be so honest, especially when they could have easily kept the cash without anyone knowing. 3 days later, David Chen drove up from Portland to Pine Ridge to collect his wallet and meet Jake in person. The meeting between Jake and David was awkward at first. David kept trying to offer Jake a reward for his honesty, but Jake refused to take any money. Jake explained that he was just doing what any decent person should do. But David wasn't satisfied with just saying thank you. He wanted to do something meaningful to show his appreciation. After talking for a while, David learned about Jake's background and his reasons for moving to the mountains. David was fascinated by Jake's self-sufficient lifestyle and his ability to live off the land. As it turned out, David's restaurant had been struggling with supply chain issues and rising food costs. He had been looking for local suppliers who could provide fresh, organic ingredients. David offered Jake a business partnership. If Jake was interested, he could grow vegetables and raise chickens on his mountain property. David would buy all the produce at premium prices for his restaurant. This arrangement would give Jake a steady income while allowing him to maintain his off-grid lifestyle. It would also help David's restaurant by providing high-quality, locally sourced ingredients. Jake was initially hesitant about the idea. He had moved to the mountains to get away from business deals and complicated arrangements. But David was persistent and genuine in his offer. He explained that this wasn't charity or a reward for returning the wallet. It was a legitimate business opportunity that would benefit both of them. After thinking it over for a week, Jake agreed to try the partnership. He started small, growing tomatoes, lettuce, and herbs in a greenhouse he built near his cabin. He also began raising free-range chickens for fresh eggs. David drove up from Portland once a month to collect the produce and check on Jake's operation. Over time, the two men developed a genuine friendship based on mutual respect and trust. The business arrangement worked better than either of them had expected. Jake's vegetables were so fresh and flavorful that David's restaurant customers started asking about them specifically. David began advertising his use of mountain-grown ingredients, which attracted new customers who cared about sustainable farming. Within 6 months, Jake was earning enough money to not only maintain his mountain lifestyle, but actually improve it. He was able to expand his greenhouse, upgrade his solar panel system, and even buy a newer truck. More importantly, Jake had found a way to make a living that aligned with his values and didn't require him to give up his peaceful mountain life. David's restaurant also thrived with the addition of Jake's fresh ingredients. The Children's Hospital received their long-awaited donation, plus additional funds from a special fundraising event that David organized. So what started as a simple act of honesty by the creek that morning turned into something much bigger than either man could have imagined. Jake's decision to return the wallet created a ripple effect that changed multiple lives for the better. The Children's Hospital got their donation. David's restaurant found a reliable source of premium ingredients. And Jake discovered that living off-grid didn't have to mean living without meaningful connections to other people. But here's the thing that really matters in this story. Jake made his decision to return the wallet before he knew anything good would come from it. He didn't know about David's restaurant or the business opportunity that would follow. He just knew it was the right thing to do. That's what real integrity looks like. It's doing the right thing even when nobody is watching, even when you could benefit from doing the wrong thing, and even when you have no idea what the consequences will be. Jake could have easily kept that money and nobody would have ever known. Instead, he chose to be honest, and that choice created something beautiful for everyone involved. What would you have done if you found that wallet by the creek? Leave a comment below and let me know. And if this story inspired you or made you think differently about honesty and integrity, hit that like button and share the video with someone who needs to hear it today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.